Okay, so hello everybody. Although is Deja How, or I could also say this one, since I'm talking about this one. Yeah, I'll show you Google Translate how to say it.
Minasan konnichiwa.
Misan konnichiwa. That would be hello everybody in Japanese. Because today's video is called if I want to put in it right, yeah, is Japan a better country to live than the United States? I already talked about this about Taiwan, so now I gotta talk about it. Now I gotta compare it to Japan now, because I want to talk about other countries too besides Taiwan anyway. And there's some Japanese YouTubers that try to get Americans. They're trying to get some Americans to move to Japan. So that's why I'm making a video about it. My response to them is my answer is no. I don't want to move there. I'd rather stay here in the U.S. Now, if I want to pick an Asian country to move to, because that Japan is right here, I would just move to Taiwan instead of because, you know why? Because I'm more influenced to the Taiwanese culture, not Japanese culture anyway, but still. That's why. So I would pick Taiwan instead of Japan. But why? But let's talk about this first. So it's because we're more influenced in the Chinese culture or in Taiwanese culture, and then Japanese. But Japan is still a pretty good place, but still a pretty good country to visit. And if you want to live there, you can if you want to, but it's up to you. I'm gonna look it up on Google. Right here. It says right here, if you want to know. According to many factors, quality of life, Japan is considered a better country to live in the United States, partly due to significantly lower crime rate, emphasis of social order. However, the best country depends on largely individual priorities and lifestyle factors and factors. Cultural differences and language barriers could be significant downsides for some people. So here's the key points in favor of Japan, if you want to know about this, okay? Yes. Safety. Japan is consistently ranks on one of the safest countries in the world with very low crime rate, especially compared to the U.S. Alright, so that's what they're talking about here. So Japan, just like Taiwan, Japan does not have mass shootings like in China, and doesn't have it does not have mass stabbings, like in China, the mass stabbings that have been happening in China. Well, that's not happening in Japan. That's why. And Japan does not have mass shootings like here in the United States. That's what I'm going to say is like here, yeah. That's what Japan does not have. So yeah, it is safer than both China and the U.S. So that is true. Japan does lower crime rate. The crime is much lower than China and the U.S. So that's good. Now the cleanliness. Well, another thing about Japan is it's not autocratic like China. You see, Japan is a three different credit country, just like Taiwan and the U.S. So to make that to consider, I'll show you on the Freedom House website. Alright, so you can see the United States now. Okay, well, it got to 84 out of 100 this year, which is very good. See, so China's still down to 9 out of 100. Taiwan, down up to 94 out of 100. And now here's Japan, 96 out of 100. You see, it's a free democratic country. It's not autocratic like China is. So, yeah, I think you should be happy about that. It's a democratic country. And it's also advanced. It's also advanced, yes. Because I know a lot of, well, my family had, my parents have Toyotas, and I know that's from Japan. Also known as, yeah, and it's also advanced, you know. Yeah, now, I know that China wishes to be advanced, but they aren't, you know. And it's Japan, but they aren't, you know. And they're, I know, the Chinese government, they're just bullying Japan, just like they're just bullying Taiwan. I know, they said they want to take over Taiwan, but do they want to take over Japan? Well, I don't know, but I think so. That's what I do believe. They will love to destroy these two countries, and that's not good at all. That's what I'm saying about China, you know? And that's not good at all. And they think, yeah, I know, the Chinese government thinks that Japan is still imperial today, but that's not true anymore. It's not, you know, Japan is not like that anymore. You know, it's not like, yeah. I don't know why they want. I don't know why they don't want to worry about. I don't know why I keep hearing worry about what happened in World War II. That's over with. You know. To me, I forgive Japan what they did wrong during World War II. Okay, and plus I wasn't even born then, so. To me, World War II, all this thing about this imperial thing, Japan is no longer imperial anymore, you know? It's China that's imperial now. And we need to get rid of that CCP, because and I think we need to get rid of the CCP because it's well, they're an evil government. That's why. At least that's my answer about that. About Japan. That's my answer to China about this lie about Japan still being imperial, because it's not anymore. I think the CCP needs to go away with that crap and think about something else. Think about their own problems instead of lying about Japan and Taiwan. That's my answer about that. Stupid China. That's my answer about that. Anyway, let's get back to on Japan, so. Alright, so now here's the cleanness. The Japanese culture is a strong emphasis cleanness and tightness, leading on noticeably cleaner public spaces. Alright. Well, okay. Well, that's something that's great. Now, public transportation. Japan is a highly efficient and reliable public transport system, making car ownership less necessary. Quality healthcare. The Japanese healthcare system is praised in its quality and affordability. Alright. Now, potential downsides of living in Japan. Well, the language barrier. English proficiency is not widespread as in the U.S. We could present challenges for non-Japanese speakers. Work culture. The Japanese work culture can be demanding with long hours and high expectations, especially in certain industries. Now, cost of living. While not significantly higher than the U.S., certain areas in Japan can be expensive. Yeah, the cultural differences. Adapting to different cultural lifestyle could be challenging for some people. Yep, that's the thing. That's what you have to consider. Because we have to learn something here, and there's different things that we have to learn about. There's two things I don't like about. Oh, well, let me see. Oh, whatever. Okay. Here, I'll put this on my Oh, there's already some YouTube videos about this too, but you have to learn something here. Yeah, so all right, that's complete. Now we have to take a look at. All right, so let's look at the pros and cons for living in Japan, because I want to talk about that first of all to see. Okay, so living in Japan may offer pros like delicious food, delicious and clean environment and transportation. But also, when comes living in various cultural disasters like earthquakes and typhoons. Yeah, and also tsunamis too. Yep. Yeah. Well, those all include tsunamis as well, because the word tsunami means, well, it means harbor wave in Japanese. Alright, so let's talk about, this is one of the things now here's one of the things I don't like about Japan, but let's read this. So this is its delicious food, a renowned device of high quality cuisine, including sushi, ramen, and other traditional dishes. Okay. Alright, let me talk about this. There's two things I don't like about Japan at all, and here's why. Well, one of them is Shintoism, because Shintoism is of the devil. It sends people to hell. And here's why the Shintoism sends people to hell. It's because what they're doing in these Shinto shrines, I want to talk about, what they're doing is they worshiping their own ancestors, and they're also worshiping false gods. That's not good. So what they're doing is, and plus the original influencers, what they're doing is really necromancy. So they're just necromancing in these Shinto shrines, and that's not good at all. To me, so Shintoism is just of the devil. It's just more like a celebration of necromancy, and that's just not good at all. So that's one of the things I don't like. Another thing I don't like about Japan is this food right here, sushi. Now why? Because sushi is uncooked fish. That's why. If I want to eat seafood, I'm probably having it cooked, not uncooked. You know, and I know, and you know, and if you want to know what uncooked means, well, it means it's just not cooked. You know, meaning that it's raw. That's what I mean by uncooked. So no. So I'm against eating sushi because it's uncooked fish, uncooked seafood, uncooked meat. I don't want to eat any meat that's uncooked, including seafood. So that's my answer about sushi. But anyway, that's just talk about the safety here. So safety is Japan's one of the safest countries in the world with lower crime rates, allowing comfortable lifestyle. Okay, we talked about that already. Cleanliness. Japan is known for exceptional cleanliness. Maintain public spaces, strong emphasis on hygiene. Alright. Now, public sanitation. Visual transportation systems and like trains and subways, like making major cities easy. Excellent healthcare. And consistent quality affordable healthcare is readily available to residents. Cultural experiences. Rich cultural heritage of digital arts. Now, Japan is also furthering technical innovation, offering access to cutting-edge gadgets and services. Okay, now before I can get to the cons, I still have to talk about what happened. So, about when I've been learning about what sushi was. Okay, I've been learning about YouTube videos about sushi first of all. All right. And there are some YouTube videos about some sushi that's poisonous to people, and that's not good either. So, to me, there's some sushi that's poison, if there's some flavors of sushi that's poisonous, and I don't want to eat any of it at all. That's my answer about that. Besides having it uncooked, anyway. That's what I meant to say that's just my response. So to me, I'm against eating sushi anyway. I'm against that. Because it's uncooked seafood and it can be poisonous too. That's why. Now the cons. Alright, so now high cost of living. Housing and general living experience in major cities like Tokyo can be very expensive. Language barrier. While some English is spoken in tourist areas, fluency in Japanese is essential for daily life, creating a potential challenge for foreigners. Alright, yeah. Now, cultural formality. Japanese society can be quite conformist, which may feel restrictive for individuals who may value individuality. Now, work culture. Long working hours and high-pressure work environments common for some sectors. Now, natural disasters. Yes, Mom?
Which one do you want to eat? I was going to give this to you and Dan. You want to eat that one? Daniel will eat this, but he won't eat that.
I thought there was a macaroni and cheese one.
Yeah, you want to eat that one?
Yes,
okay.
You can get that one. You can get that macaroni and beef one to Daniel.
Okay, I can do that.
Alright, now here's natural disasters about Japan. You see, Japan is prone to earthquakes, typhoons, and tsunamis, which can be a concern for residents. Now, limited on living space, apartments on urban areas can be small, especially in major cities. Now, social pressure. Social expectations of environmental structures can be challenging to navigate for foreigners. for foreigners. You see, that's what we have to learn about. This is what we have to learn about moving to different countries, including Japan. So that's why. Now, I'm talking about. Now, what about the language of Japanese? Well, because that will be the. Because that's the most spoken language in Japan. It's probably the official language in Japan, right? I'm not trying to make it. I'm not trying to make anything up here. Well, first of all, I have to learn about this. Japanese, the language of Japanese, is more work. It's more work than learning Chinese. And here's why. Because, in Chinese, you got pictographs. You got that system. But what about in Japanese? Well, Japanese, it's a 3-alphabet system. You got hiragana, katakana, and kanji. Well, kanji is just Chinese characters, but it's called kanji in Japanese. It's called Hanzi in Mandarin. Now, so my answer is this. So if Japanese is more work because of the alphabet system, to me, I'd rather not learning Japanese at all then, because it's just too much work to learn because of the alphabet system. They have, and I learned a little bit about the Japanese, about the language of Japanese, but it also says, it does have some words. There's a lot of words that are borrowed from other foreign languages, including English. So, yeah, I guess you can say the Western culture. I guess they can say the Western culture. I guess the Western has been influenced a lot in Japan, but still, it's still more work. I better off not learning Japanese. That's my belief anyway. If you want to learn it, you know what? Go ahead. I still believe, to me, if you want to learn Japanese, you know what? Go ahead, because we still need Japanese people to get saved. We need to get them to believe in Jesus. So that's my next question. Can you bring a Bible in Japan? That's the answer right there. Here, it says right here. Yes, you can bring a Bible to Japan. Japan has a freedom of religion, and Christianity is predicted in Japan demonstrations in 1871. You see? Japan's culture guarantees a freedom of religion, and faith journeys of many Japanese Christians, and online shops for sell Bibles and Christian books in Japanese. The definition of religious terms is that if you're traveling by plane, you can read religious terms that a container can be separated by belongings of for X-ray screening. Japan customs or prohibits of certain items, including heroin, cocaine, and MDMA, opium, cannabis, and stimulations of psychotropic systems, firearms, ammunition, explosives. Alright, so yes, you can bring a Bible to Japan, yes. What about preaching the gospel? Can you preach the gospel? That's the answer right there. Can you preach the gospel? Because that's what you have to do. You have to learn you have to preach the gospel. You know, yeah, it says right here, yes, you can preach the gospel in Japan. It's considered a very challenging missionary field due to the country's predominantly Buddhist and Shinto population. But it's a very small percentage of Christians, making it difficult to share the Christian message, often view a missionary graveyard. But where conversion rates are low, announced that cultural necessity approach, crucial when sharing the gospel there. Key points of preaching the gospel in Japan. Yes. Cultural barriers. Japanese culture emphasizes harmony and social comfort, which would make openly professing a different religion, especially one seen as foreign, difficult to navigate. Now, religious landscape. Most Japanese people are a combination of Shinto and Buddhism, with Christianity representing a tiny minority. Now, the concept of sin. Japanese concept of sin is different from Western Christian understanding, making it challenging to explain the need for salvation. Alright. Importance for relationship building. Essentially, deep personal connection is vital before discussing Christian beliefs. Now, language proficiency. Fluency in Japanese, essentially for effective communication of the gospel. You see? So yes, you can preach the gospel there. What about bringing in the United States flag? And I'm talking about this. See? What about bringing the United States flag to Japan? Can you do that? Alright, so yes, you can bring in the United States flag to Japan. There are no restrictions against carrying or displaying the American flag as a tourist in Japan. Now, the key points to remember. No legal issues. Bringing U.S. Japan could be legal and considered accessible, but rightful display. While displaying the flag, it can be mindful of local customs and etiquette. You may see American flags displayed in U.S. military installations in Japan. Alright, so yeah, you can use it. So yeah, you can bring the United States flag. But what about does Japan just accept dual citizenship? I want to talk about that too. Because I know that Taiwan accepts dual citizenship, but I don't know about Japan. Here's why. Alright. So yes, Japan does recognizes dual citizenship up to age 18, after a person must choose one nationally. Child born after dual citizenship could be kept until they are 18. After 18, may both choose a nationality within 2 years. If someone doesn't choose a nationality by the deadline, they may lose their Japanese nationality. To choose Japan nationality, can someone renounce foreign citizenship or declare the Japanese nationality? People consult of legal judges for Japanese advances and consult of legal business and learn more section of process. Okay, now you exclude the population of include expense. Okay, takes an expense of multiple countries. However, others say that allowing dual citizenship allows Japanese and nationals to work in Japan overseas and legal challenges. Some lawyers have been challenged a nationally law lawyer pursuing a lawsuit challenge the law. Alright, so yes. So yes, Japan does allow dual citizenship, which is great. Just like Taiwan accepts dual citizenship. That's great. I'm happy for that. You know, that's something you have to consider about, you know. Yeah, okay. Now it says it's now citizenship. Okay. Let's spell single nationality. Okay, and all right. So Americans can, but I'm not sure if Americans can get dual citizenship in Japan. But it says right here, uses their Japanese citizenship. Okay, so you may choose rather than in 2 years. Okay, so. I'm just reading what it says anyway, but well, can you bring a Japanese flag to the United States? Yes, you can bring a Japanese flag to the United States. There's no law pertaining foreign flags on American soil, including the Japanese flag. Yeah, so this is another thing. The United States does not allow any laws bringing flags from other countries. Like, okay, flags naked. When you bring the Japanese flag, it's important to follow your proper flag and quit displaying it, especially flying alongside the American flag. Especially always use displaying the flag, and not using it in the way could be considered offensive. All right, so you can bring the Japanese flag to the United States as well. So. But here's what I learned from Pastor Steve Anderson about the Japanese Bibles. He said there's no he said he doesn't have there's no perfect Bible in Japanese right now. That's what he says. Well, that's what he said in one of his videos anyway. But to me, all right. So that's what I think about this. So Google does saying that Japan is a better country to live in the United States, but I don't know that to think about that. I've never been to Japan, so I don't know that for sure anyway. I don't have an answer for that anyway. But I did learn that Japan does have a low birth rate, but like Taiwan, Japan does have a low birth rate. I'll see how many Japanese people could be left. How many people in Japan can be left in the year 2100? Because this is something you have to consider here, Alright, let's take a look on Japan. Alright, so Okay, so according to this, populationpyramid.net, in the year 2100, it's predicted that the people in Japan, the population in Japan will have like about 77 million people left. You can also type it here. That's Taiwan. I'm talking about Japan here. Alright, so it says 6.278 million people left. Because, yeah, it will lose almost, yeah, it will be a 50, because it will be a 50% decrease in population, that's why. So that's why it will be. What, Mom? I'm busy making a video right now.
Video.
Why? Why keep showing me Elmo anyway? Anyway, so yes, it's saying 6 million, but Google's saying 6.6278 million people left. So, yeah, so Japan's gonna lose its population. It's gonna be a decrease in the, a 50% decrease by the year 2100. Well, that's not great at all, but that's something you have to learn about here. And Japan does not have a president; it has a prime minister. Oh yeah, there it is. Shigeru Ishiba is the current prime minister of Japan right now. And is he responding against China bullying Japan? Probably. That's what I do believe. Anyway, but but this is what I have to consider over here. So my one response would be this. About Japan only have like about 62 million people left in the year 2100. That would be, my answer is this. All right. If you want to know what the Japanese flag looks like, though, you can take a look here. And here's the Japanese flag right here. The right rectangle and the red circle in the middle. And it's the circle of the sun. That's what it is. And that's pretty good to know about that anyway. Compared to the United States flag, which has 50 stars and 13 stripes. All right. So with Japanese having a decrease on population, we need to learn something here to preach the gospel there. So that way, so they can grow in grace and they would want to have children. That's what I do believe. But it's only the minority that will get saved. So we need to preach the gospel there. And yeah, I do believe that New Abbey churches need to be there. But I was thinking about doing it. I was thinking about preaching the gospel in Taiwan. But there are people that do want to. But I've been talking about preaching the gospel in Japan as well, and they need to. They need to hear the gospel of Jesus Christ. This is what I do believe anyway. And I learned it in plus. And I also watched a sermon from Pastor Steve Anderson. He made a video about the wicked things about Japan. Including about Shintoism and Buddhism and also and stuff. Well, he also talked about wasting their time playing video games as well. Well, I play video games too, but anyway, that's something I have to learn about. Yeah. So to me, if you want to go to Japan and you want to live there, that's fine. You can do that if you want, that's fine, but just remember, the gospel needs to be preached there, and I think learning Japanese could be great for a Christian. It could be great for a Christian. I do encourage Christians to learn Japanese. I do encourage some Christians to learn Japanese so they can preach the gospel to Japan and get them and get some Japanese people saved over there. Hopefully, that's my answer for that. And maybe you can get, and there might be, I don't know any, and we need to get jazz people. I do believe we need to get jazz people saved because, well, salvation's for everybody. Which will include Japanese people as well. That's why. That's my answer for that. That's why. Because I don't want anyone to go to hell. That's why I want them to go to heaven. But they want to go to heaven to believe on Lord Jesus Christ. That's why. Alright, that's my answer about that. So, if you want Japanese people to have children again, the best thing to do is to preach the gospel. And get them to grow in grace. That's my answer for that, anyway. So that's really how to get saved according to the Bible. Only falls into the damn souls to hell. And you go to heaven to believe all Lord Jesus Christ. Salvation is by faith and grace in Jesus Christ alone. When saved by reason of the truth, meaning you can't lose your salvation by reason of the salvation. You need to do is believe in Jesus Christ for salvation. Now I know that people talk about that's anime as well. Like Pokemon, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Dragon Ball. But I'm not interested in watching anime anyway. So I'm not. But there are shows I do watch are from Japan, and they're all and plus they're all Americanized anyway. American, and plus they have Japanese culture in it. I'm talking about Power Rangers and Transformers. Well, yeah, and so is G.I. Joe as well, because in G.I. Joe, Snake Eyes got trained as a ninja in Japan. Yeah, that's what I learned. Yeah, it's in G.I. Joe. And there's some Japanese versions of Transformers. Yeah. And also Japanese versions of Power Rangers as well, like Super Sentai. So and stuff. So that's we have to consider about that anyway. That's my answer about Power Rangers and G.I. Joe and Transformers. Having Japanese, having American and also Japanese influence. That's why. Anyway, so I talk about believing in Jesus, right? So I talk about next video is called, well, it's South Korea, a better country to live in the United States. Well, I'll talk about that next video. Because I have to go right now. So if you want, so to me, I brought off, if I want to pick an Asian country to live in, I brought off just picking Taiwan. You know what? You know, not Japan, but if you want to live in Japan, you know what? Go ahead. You know, that's my answer about that anyway. Now, I'll talk about South Korea next video, because I have to go right now. But thank you for watching this video. You know, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you there. Goodbye. Adios. Yeah, and Zaijian. And oh yeah, and goodbye in Japanese is sayonara. So yeah, sayonara.